This video is going to be just a little bit different. I had gone to the grocery store and had bought a bunch of salad stuff. As I told you, we're changing up our diet a bit, and we're having crock pot meals with whole foods in the evening, and during the day we're having a good salad. I had some vegetables that needed to be cut up and prepared. I try to make my salads ahead of time and have them in baggies so that we can just pull it out and it's like a salad bar, and you just get what you want and throw it in there, and it's much quicker than having to chop each time. So I decided to record this, and while you watch me chop my salad and prepare all the foods that can go into salad and what we call bunless burgers, I'm going to be recording some thoughts that I've been having. As you know, and as if you've listened to me for any length of time, you know that I have had a life pretty much highly sensitive but intensified by a lot of negative feelings. Fear, doubt, unbelief, agoraphobia, just a lot of sorrowful days, a lot of days full of regret and grief and loneliness and hurt, feelings of abandonment, feelings of rejection. But I've come to a place, and it just seems like recently, maybe it's because I've done all these videos and my healing process has matured, but I've come to the point where I'm really, really ready to let it go. And most of these sad feelings are wrapped around relationships and people. And when I say I'm letting people go, I don't mean that I'm actually letting them go as people. Still love them, still want them in my life, but I'm ready to let go of the negative emotion that goes with it. I just can't allow it to hurt me anymore. At the age of 65, which I will be in just a few days, I realize, time is limited. When I'm going to have to leave all of these things behind eventually anyway, I'll leave all of my loved ones that are still living behind. I'll leave all my stuff behind and enter into the world of heaven. Why should I spend the next years that I have grieving over something that ultimately I'm going to leave it anyway? And maybe that sounds a little macabre. I don't mean it to sound that way, but I'm finally ready to turn loose. I just do not want to spend my days in sadness, regret, and grief, loneliness, and sorrow anymore. I'm turning it loose, and you might say, well, what are you going to replace that with? Well, all of the good emotions. I want to hold on to love. I want to hold on to acceptance. I want to hold on to quietness and rest. All of the good emotions that you could imagine: nostalgia, gratitude, forgiveness, just letting it go. I think Stoicism and the study and the practice of Stoicism has come a long way of me actually being able to reach the point of turning loose. So much of this world is intangible. So much of this world that we experience, this life that we experience, is just internal. And it really has no tangible effect on us except for our mood, our feelings, our emotions, and which can either make us very happy or very sad. I have just reached a point where detachment is a better option. I've definitely reached a point where detachment, which is part of Stoicism, is a better option. I'm just detaching from the pain. And many of these people will never come back into my life again that have hurt me or decided for some reason I wasn't worth fighting for. Hopefully some will. And, but relationships should be founded on commitment, love, communication. And these are things that, have to go both ways. Through detachment, I am releasing myself from the sad and the bad and the dark and the hopelessness. And what goes with that? Well, the simple, mundane task of life. And each moment that you take to chop a salad, cut up some onions, the simple, mundane task of life can be so refreshing and so rewarding. And during that time, you can just free your spirit to know that ultimately everything's going to be okay. I have never had a problem in my 65 years that didn't resolve itself in some way. I have been in situations where I didn't see any future. I've been in situations where I could not understand how it could ever change, that it was going to stay the same forever. And I have never been in a situation that was negative or a problem or anything else that did not in some way resolve itself. Bad things come, but they don't stay. Bad things happen, but it becomes resolved. It goes away. The bad will go away. The good can go away, but if you're concentrating on the good emotions, the positivity in your life, the hope and the beauty, the sensations of life. I'm going to tell you that while I was working on the salad and I was just spending time in quietness, I had the window open a little bit because it kept getting warm. It's still really warm here in New Mexico. And so I had the window open so there was a little bit of a cool air coming in. And the sun was shining brightly. And as I cut up these vegetables and lettuces, sometimes it smelled like grass, sometimes it smelled like summer, sometimes it smelled like the garden. And it was actually very enjoyable. I'm noticing that there's a lot of rocking motion going on in the video, and I just have to let you know that my table really rocks. If you touch it, it rocks around. It's these simple, mundane tasks, just simple things that you do that just fill your life with sensation and happiness and joy. You may hear music in the background. That's because our neighbors in the back are having their Sunday mariachi party or whatever, so I'm hoping that I can minimize that in a great way when I do the editing. But this is a endeavor to find real life for me, to set aside the negative pain, the sorrows, the hurt that my life has been filled with. And I've spent and maybe even wasted so much time trying to understand why things hurt so bad, why people do the things that they do, why it affects me, why I even care. Because I see people that have went through the same things I have, and somehow or other they just have the ability to turn off the switch and not care. I've never been able to do that. I've always felt my emotions very deeply, and it has affected me physically. It's affected me mentally, not just emotionally. But I've just come to a point where I'm just ready to detach. I'm ready to just let it go. They say all the time in psychology, you can control what you do, but you can't control what others do. You can't change their mind. And I have learned, even my personal assistant John is always warning me of defending my stance, defending my opinion, making a point. And he helps me to remember that usually when you're trying to make a point or defend yourself in some way, it usually goes in a negative direction. It's better to just be stoic. It's better to just sit. I love a story that I read about Princess Diana, and Harry was little, and she was trying to get him to behave. And she told him to sit. And he said, "Why?" And she said, "Sit to be. Just sit down to be." And I have thought about that so much. So much of the time we're standing up and we're trying to make life make sense, and we're trying to change our situation. We're trying to do something. And so many times we're so much better off just to sit. And why do we sit? We just sit to be. Just to be in this life. To see what life brings. To see what hope brings. To just wait on the existence of who we are. But it's all encapsulated in these simple little tasks that we do, and the little joys. Little joys are so important. You may be, I have dreams of having a forever home. I have dreams of owning land with rolling green fields of grass. But that's not where my real joy comes. My real joy comes from the journey. My real joy comes from this simple little salad spinner that I bought at Walmart. I love to wash my vegetables and my salads, but I hate to have them wet, and I just adore a good salad spinner. And this one was quite fun, even though using it makes the table rock a lot. But it's simple things like the salad spinner that gives you joy. We've gone so long with hardly a penny extra that something like a salad spinner was completely out of the question. And now we have all gotten new house shoes, and we got a salad spinner and a crock pot. So things are looking up, but I'm finding so much pleasure and so much joy in these little tiny things. I know when I cut open this green leaf lettuce, or after I cut it, I was taken by the fact that when I opened it up and started cutting it, it smelled so much like green grass, like almost like fresh cut green grass. And that's quite amazing, because that's just not something that you have very much where we live. And speaking of where we live, we so appreciate where we live in New Mexico simply because it has given us an advantage. It has allowed us to grow and heal and to get a position in life where we have an advantage. And this is something that we probably could not have achieved anywhere else. We long for the green grass of home. We long to go back east and enjoy the beautiful colors and the flowers and the four-season climate, which we don't have here. We long to escape from the heat and the intense sunshine and have a few overcast days. But being here, I have learned, does not diminish my joy. While I look forward to going home and all the beauty of home and the feeling of being at home, I actually kind of live, in a sense, not where I'm at, but where I'm traveling, where I'm going. So in my body, yeah, sure, I'm still here, but in my mind and my heart, that's where I'm at. It's like traveling from one destination to another. You leave one city and you're going to another city, and while you're traveling, you don't think of, where am I at right in the present. You think about where you're going. And that's the way of life. It's not where you're at. It's not what you're feeling is. It's not what the circumstances are saying things are. But instead, it's where you're going. It's where you're headed. And everything I do is almost micromanaged. And it takes me one step closer to moving back east and having financial security to buy our land and our home. So if life isn't perfect here, which it never is, it will be better. It will get better. It will always get better. It doesn't matter where you're at and how dark it is, how sad it is, and often by our own indiscretion, making poor decisions, we end up in a really, really bad place. But never look down. Always look up, look out, and believe, because no matter where you are and how dim things may be at the time, it will get better. I have been through so many very, very dark places, and the light always comes. So you just hunker down and you pray and you wait for the light to come. Detaching from negative emotions and pain and sorrow can be difficult. It can be challenging because emotions are real. It's not like they don't actually exist. If you are grieved, it affects you mentally, it affects you physically. And I can remember so many times over the past 3 or 4 years where I would go to sleep or dread going to sleep because I would wake up hyperventilating, feeling like that my life had just been washed away like some kind of a nightmare, and wondering who I was and how I was going to manage and how I could ever come out from the horrible, horrible nightmare I was engulfed in. And it all came because of a mental breakdown due to sepsis. My life was destroyed. Many people still can't believe that, and many people still can't forgive me because I made some horrible, horrible decisions. I could defend myself. I could say, who was I before I got sick? The things that I did and said and was that the true me? No, it wasn't, because I had lived 55 years just being peaceful and loving. No, I wasn't perfect, but I would have never done some of the things that I did when I got sick. In the long run, when you look back at it, it's all gone. It no longer exists. So I move on, and I forgive myself, and I move to a better, happier, higher place. Now, what God chooses to do the rest of my life, that's left up to God. But I choose goodness. I choose happiness. I choose peace. I'm going to enjoy nature. I'm going to enjoy hobbies that I love, like cooking, gardening, sewing. I am going to entrench my life in beauty, whether it would be color, the sounds of nature, whether it would be something as simple as chopping up a salad and smelling it as I went. I intend to fill my life with beauty. You know, I have not done videos outside because I find the desert to be ugly, actually. And I know people that live here have a very strong bond to it and they are very fond of it. But because I'm from green hills and beautiful big trees, I find it stark and devastating. It's like a bomb went off and just destroyed everything. So I've had a tendency to do everything inside. But I have decided that while we're here, I'm going to venture out of doors sometimes, and I am going to try to sense the beauty that is present around me, no matter how ugly it may feel, no matter how it lacks color and everything looks dead. I know there has to be beauty out there somewhere, and maybe beauty that I can create. So as I was chopping up the bits for the salad, and it took me much longer. I think this video was nearly 2 hours long because I chopped up so much stuff that we're going to be able to eat on for days. It was amazing. And all I have to do is get out these little baggies and serve up the salad, and we will enjoy. But I wanted to make this video just to say I'm detaching from the negative. I am detaching from things that cause me pain. Yes, I will always love my family. I will always love people, even people that have hurt me immensely, people that have caused me so much pain. I have people in my life that just simply love to hate me. And I also have people in my life that have seemed like tried to destroy me. I live by faith. I live by love. Yes, right now you can tell I'm crying because I cry really, really easy. But I'm crying from joy. I'm crying because I know that no matter what, my life is going to be full of happiness. My life is going to be full of shredded cheese that I can sprinkle over my salad. Garden dirt, even if it's potting soil that I can dig my hands into, and seeds that I can plant. And I know that going forth, my life is going to be full of joy. What better Christmas gift? You know, my birthday is on December 27th, so I'm going to have Christmas, and 2 days later I'm going to have a birthday. What better gift could I have than to know that every day, through Stoicism, through faith, through belief, every day for the rest of my life I'm going to have joy. I wish that for you too. I wish that for you. I want you to be happy. I want you to find joy. And mind my words. I don't care where you're at. If you're homeless, if you're struggling, if you have poverty, if you have sickness, no matter where you're at, things can and will get better ultimately, because bad always goes away. You know, I like to watch Hallmark movies because they always end well, right? And remember the old-time Harlequin books, the ones a long time ago? I haven't read one in a long time, but they were so pleasant because it was generally a love story and it always ended good. I like stories that end good. But you know what? Ultimately, if you look up, don't look down at your feet. Look up. Look out. And you will find goodness. If you're living in such a way that you're not in a destructive mode, your life will improve. And the bad may come, but the bad will go away, because goodness always wins. God is the victor over Satan. Good is the victor over bad. The key to this: don't live in a destructive mode. Don't be tearing things down. When people get angry, they'll break things. They'll throw things. They'll tear things up. How many times have I seen somebody throw their phone, their most precious object in life? And if you're doing that, you're living in a destructive way. You need to be building. You know, one scripture that hits so close to me is the scripture that says, "A wise woman buildeth her house, but a foolish one plucks it down with her hands." And for a long time, I was foolish. It took me a long time to realize that if you're not building, you're tearing down. And if you're in a destructive mode, you're destroying your own life and you're plucking it down with your hands. So do the right thing if you possibly can. Keep the good attitude. Be a peacemaker, not someone that contrives strife. Be a peacemaker. Be a person that loves and has compassion and strives to build and give life and to encourage people. Don't cut people down. Don't gossip. Don't do anything negative in your life if you can at all avoid it. But instead, build up. Be a peacemaker. Be a lover. Be a person that builds other people up, that comforts and encourages. And detach from the negative. No, you don't throw people away. You don't stop having anything to do with them. You don't give up on them. The Bible says to forgive 70 times 70. You have to keep working with people. Sometimes it takes time to resolve things in your own heart. And trust me, I have been resolving things in my own heart my whole life. But you can do this. Just keep looking up. I'm going to call this video finished for now. And I know that it's an odd vlogmas, but what better gift can we give ourselves than to to detach from the negative in this life and move on to happiness, peace, joy, and love. And I hope you enjoyed this little video and my salad chopping, and I plan to share a lot more little simple things that I do throughout the day, and I hope you find some joy in it too. I love you all. I love my family. I love my children forever. And I adore all you friends and acquaintances out there that are so special to my heart. And I will see you on the next video. Bye-bye for now.